I'm the man, yes, sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. We still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding because we all came from hunger.
That's what's up, that's what's up, that's what's up. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, hold it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today all year, coming with another wonderful episode of On Screen. We're getting into Doom Patrol. That's right, we getting a little bit evil, just a little touch evil. But before we go full evil, right over here, I'm joined by the awesomely talented, all right, cinematic sorcerer, Solar Gray.
All right, no, that's me, yeah. Yo, what is going on, everybody? I'm Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, here to talk to you with my good friend about how important it is to get your head together and know thyself.
You got to do that. You got to do that at all times. Got to do that all the time. Down in the bottom square, all right, checking in with cool shirts. Hannibal Taboo.
What's good? What's good?
Oh, man. We are almost there. Almost. Almost at the very end. Like, just a smidge further.
I'm a little messed up because I'm just coming out of my side of the eternal flagellation.
Oh, I have a summer home there, so I'm okay.
All right. You know what? I'm going to get this out the way. I know we jump around, but I've got to jump to this.
Okay, House of Pain, come on.
Cliff been, and I like that. Cliff been stiff all this time. I'm thinking the body can only move like this. All of a sudden, Brain get it, and he like, I'm like, what is all that? He dancing better than Al Sharpton. I'm like,
please don't tell me you are doing the robot while doing an impression of Cliff.
First of all, if you had spent all those decades with the warm, tender love of Mala, you likewise would be able to move in a fresher way than Cliff had been. I'm just saying, Mala is taking care of the brain. I'm just gonna put it out there.
I'll go in there. I'll let that. I won't even touch that one. I'll leave that one alone. You know what?
Yeah.
Look, everybody got to do their thing. That's
why the furries started to subscribe to your channel right now.
Yeah. It's like I thought we were here for. So I'm disappointed in Cliff. You know, Cliff. I'm thinking there's something wrong with the suit. Nah, something wrong with you.
If you haven't figured out by
Brain had better clothes. I'm thinking those are the only clothes he could wear. Brain come out, he got the ascot and eggs. I'm like, what is going on?
Have you really not figured out that there's something wrong with Cliff before now? Cliff Steele.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, there's
Cliff,
something wrong.
I left my daughter in the car. Steele.
Yes, but I mean, it's been. You think he tried to spruce up the? You know, maybe like even put like a buff shine on his armor or something like. Cause see, I'm thinking the armor's like this because he has no choice. You know what I'm saying? You know, Niles did this to him. You can't do nothing else. And then I see it's kind of like when you have someone with a car, it is kind of a hoop ride, but you know, it's just like, hey, that's their car, A to B. Then they sell it to someone else and they like, you know, they freshen it up, they paint it, you know, put some new rims on it, you know what I'm saying, detail the interior. And you're like, oh, I didn't know the car could look like this.
Well, Michael, let me ask you this. Before Cliff had his brain put in a robot body, do you believe that he would have qualified for the MacArthur Genius Grant or somehow been named Rhodes Scholar? I mean, the diameter of your knowledge, as Razcast said, is the circumference of your activity. And Cliff, God save him, is a big dummy.
Shouts to Rashcast. Yo, look, we got all kinds of references. This is how you know you watching a black show. All right. Shouts to Rashcast. Someone I thought would really blow up back in the day and just didn't. Too many behind the scenes.
I'm not going to talk about that.
All right, so I'll open it up. We open up
more
to
than I'll say.
Yeah. So Solar.
Okay.
We got some K. Where you at on it? Where
Bruh.
you at?
Let's face it. This episode to start out shouldn't have been called the Doom Patrol, because this was 100% Cliff's and Kay's episode. We tried to get a little bit of Rita. We tried. But let's talk about that girl.
Rita's list was funny though. Like she was like, "Oh, I got this. All right, cool. Well, I guess I gotta knock that out."
But real talk, all right. This episode left me a little dry for about 3 minutes after I watched it the first time. I'm just like, I'm not quite sure. And then, being on psychotropic substances while I'm staring Ramakrishna in the face, and she's telling me not to give in to astonishment while showing me that all time is one thing and we are all subatomic particles created from the prime mover. It hit me hard. Okay. Let's talk about Jane. Let's talk about my girl Jane. Number one, I forget the actress's name, but bruh, Orange is the New Black did not use her properly. Okay, because in that she was just a hot girl. Okay. In this one, this is one of the most difficult roles I have ever seen portrayed. Like, it's almost like she went to Hollywood, broke into Sally Field's house, and got a vial of Sally Field's blood shortly after Sybil, and just all the way in. Okay, all the way in. You know, because
shortly
Danielle
after
Herrera,
Sybil.
Well, that's
shortly
who
after Sybil.
Superpowered
Was that
Sybil.
what the time that's what the time machine was for? That's what the time machine was for?
Oh no, that was Rita. I'm just Jane is Jane. But Kay was written astonishingly. Being somebody with a daughter, okay, and someone who works with kids, everything about what came out on screen was brilliant. From the lack of understanding the implications of what was happening at the time, to no, they're all gone. This is great. All right, you know what? I'm gonna take over the body and I'm gonna live. And the minute it got real, the minute
Shut down.
it got real, it was like, to quote Eddie Izzard, I'm gonna invade Russia. Nope, bad idea. I mean, it was honestly brilliant, because the nanosecond life became real life. Kay was out like every other 13-year-old person. It was like, no, I got this. I don't got this. I want to go home. You know? And she went home. And then next season's story arc literally stared her in the face, said, there ain't time enough for us to keep doing this right now. I will see you in 2022. But no, 2022, we gonna be here. All of our glowing red eyes are gonna be here. And what did she do? She did what y'all do when I'm running the campaign for you guys, going, nope, I'm out. I mean, seriously.
I feel attacked.
Don't feel attacked. You should feel seen. You see, you should just feel like you were recognized and that you are seen and acknowledged.
I just remember being like, yeah, it's time to go. These people are weird. Time to go.
You know, but seriously speaking, like, everything about this was amazing. And when Jane, like most of the time, when you get people playing dual roles, you get underacting and overacting to show the juxtaposition. This is why most people only think they love, but they don't love those scenes where you have someone arguing with their alter ego, i.e., Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, crying at the mirror about how Peter Parker is like his son, or our favorite CGI former Hobbit going, no, Master loves us. He doesn't love you. I mean, it's just back and forth, and it's always too much here, too much there. The closest thing I've seen to a good performance of those different personality types, and I'm reaching way back for a guilty pleasure, was Leonardo DiCaprio in The Man in the Iron Mask. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That was the first time I knew Leo could act. Okay. Because a lot of people say Basketball Diaries, and I'm like, reference Tropic Thunder. What Robert Downey Jr. said in that, go all the way. Yeah, and this one, like when Kay's in control of the body, it's not just because of the hair extensions. I buy it when Danielle is doing that. When Danielle is talking to Cliff about fatherhood, and poor Rita going, "We're gonna get the team together and we gonna do." Oh, you don't have powers? No, I don't have powers. I'm 11. Yeah.
But apparently she do got some powers, but she was like, you can help in other ways.
Yeah. So everything about her, like, in this episode was brilliant in a very subtle way. Because we're used to all that stuff happening and the other personalities like plotting their coup, and it's like on the outside it's Doom Patrol, on the inside it's Game of Thrones or Dune or something like that. But and then they're like, no, we just gonna leave. You think you want the body? It reminds me of when I was a kid and I told my mom I wanted a job so I can make my own money. And she said, oh, you want to make your own money and spend it on the toys and stuff you want? Okay. And I went out there and I got a job, and she stopped buying food. She's like, you got money, go buy your own groceries. And sure enough, it's like, you want the body? Cool, go get it. And she runs back to the safe place, and they're like, they gone. They out there having a party.
She didn't run back to the safe place. It was further than that. Homegirl, she didn't even speak to Jane on the way back. She was just like,
No, she's like, we under attack.
It's like, who's going to go?
Yeah. I have to say, I'm disappointed in you, Solar, a little bit that you didn't take the opportunity to say that everything was not going to be okay. I'm disappointed.
I would have said it had it occurred to me, but I don't take that as a given. And I was not like that with my kids. It's like, are you going out, Daddy? Are you fighting the monsters? Yep, I'm going out to fight monsters. And are they dangerous? Yes. Are you going to come back? I don't know. But if I don't, this is who is going to be taking care of you. Okay, Dad, you're supposed to tell me everything's going to be okay.
I can't.
If I told you that, I'd be lying, because I don't know if it's going to be okay.
What I love is that he still didn't get the pun that I did there, but I'm still fine with it.
Yeah, exactly. Look, man.
So, okay.
I ain't all the way here, Mr. Taboo.
I will say this. When it comes to Madame Rouge, I think that, would you say that her part of this episode was the most like, oh yeah, Madame Rouge, yeah, you too, yeah, you're important, but we're doing more cool things over here. Like, yeah, you're with Brain, and I get it, yeah, whatever. Like Cliff and Kay and the conversation that I want to get to with, Solid Stone is like I felt like she was in the way this episode. I was just like, we don't need you anymore.
Here's the thing about Michelle Gomez. No matter what whenever she reads a line, it's a line that you want to hear. But the thing about Madame Rouge is that this episode reinforced something that we've learned about her throughout her life. She's always been somebody's sucker.
Yeah.
In every step, in every decision that she's made, she has tried to get the validation and approval of someone else who ultimately betrayed her. In doing so, it's wholly consistent to her character and wholly tragic for her life.
Well.
All right. Good point.
And also, real talk, it sticks with the motifs of the villains in this show. Because I don't care if you're talking Mr. Nobody or Beard Hunter or anybody, every single time somebody in this show has decided to become the bad guy, it shows that it don't matter how powerful you are. If you are lame, you are going to be lame. Here's godlike powers. You're still lame. It's not what your abilities are. It's who you are.
I'm told saying lame is ableist. I'm told we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to say lame.
All right, sorry.
Well.
All right. Well, if you
apologies,
are a loser,
but you know what we mean. We don't mean lame meaning lame, but lame meaning like
if you are a loser or incompetent, then now you are just incompetent with power. You know, I think the only one who leaned into that and just accepted it was the Beard Hunter. That was it. You know, everybody else is just like, oh, I will be super powerful. And the Brotherhood of Evil is like, no, you won't, because you're a nitwit. You know, it reminded me of Al Pacino in Ocean's 13 with the big betrayal between the Brain and Madame Rouge, where it was like, if you are too stupid to not see that not only was I going to betray you, but I was going to let you give me what I want and I was going to take you out, then you are not qualified to be evil. You know, I mean, seriously, because real evil.
Coke of evil.
Yeah.
Not quite evil enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, just 1 calorie. Yes, just 1 calorie evil. You know, because it was, I brought him that. Now let us go get rid. Oh, that's right. I knocked you out because you serve my purposes. But if you come to us begging to be let in, you are not qualified to join our club. You know.
Yeah. So Clever Little Vixen says, so Doom Patrol is about people who just need to learn to love themselves. And
in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways. Because Madame Rouge, if you just stop, like, just be yourself. You're a girl, you're an art girl that does all the weird dancing, and that's what you do. She's like, away, art in my eyes, in the face, the sun. It's like, look, that's what you do. That's your thing. It's, you know, I mean, hey, it ain't for me, but that's you. You're not evil. You're like one of the, like, theater kids. Just be a theater kid, all right? Just live your life. So you try to do too much. Be yourself.
Theater kid. Now, speaking of theater kid, my question is, was this show a little bit on the nose this week? Because it's like, we're theater kids. We love art. Here's my new display. Love me. Don't look at me. Love me. Don't look at me.
That was funny.
Yeah, well, I'm just sitting up going, okay, yeah.
I will answer that with 3 quotes that I took from the show. Like, I had to stop, pause, and write them down.
Okay.
Ooh.
1, the world is complicated even when they make it simple. 2, things aren't always as simple as we want them to be, Jane. And 3, and this is the one that I'm going to probably be using with a lot of everybody who talks to me, your absurd and overly complicated problems are not welcome here. That there's a notice that stuff gets mixed up and stuff gets weird, and that's true, but do you really need to deal with it? Do you really need to bring the space parasite back from the woods, from the duffel bag that you put it in? Do you need to do that? Is it necessary?
Yes.
You don't even know what it is or what it does. Like,
exactly. Do you need to get the approval of these whack job friends of yours for something that you did to make yourself feel whole and to feel complete? Do you need that?
Honestly, I will not hear any negative talk on Larry's journey. The answer to, do you have to get the space parasite larva? Yes.
No.
It's made up of him,
No.
and he's got to understand it.
Okay,
No.
well, when it goes wrong, I want you to remember my face right now. And we're gonna screenshot this because this is gonna be the I told you so meme. This is right here.
See, again, the world is more complicated than you're making it out to be.
Like,
It's
okay.
gonna go wrong, but the question is it gonna go wrong because it's gonna go wrong? Or is it gonna go wrong because Larry is trying to avoid it going wrong?
Why not both?
You know, I
It's
mean,
because
quite seriously.
Okay.
But it going wrong does not have to be a bad thing. Nothing is ever smooth from start to finish.
For the dead people in that town that they destroyed,
Yes.
and for the people that space parasite is inevitably going to horribly maim, I
They
believe
know what
it
they
will be
did.
bad.
They know what they did.
did.
And if they ain't done it, they gonna do it. It's just like when your mama used to beat your butt knowing that you were gonna do something that she ain't finding out about.
Actually,
Okay.
that's the thing. I'm like, well, since I got the beating already, I might as well go do something.
all right. With Larry, I don't mind Larry. You know, look, if you got to keep the thing, fine. Just keep it away from me. But okay, now we got a baby karate chopping everybody. All right, we need your help. Like you ain't helping. Like you ain't even
That
help.
was not
Like,
right.
put the baby down. Put the slug down, and then come and help.
To be
Like-
fair, when has Larry ever fought effectively as Larry?
Yeah.
When? In the entire
Seriously.
series.
But doesn't he have
He is
training?
consistent
Like, because
at anything.
remember he was in the service, so they give you like
Again,
basic hand to
when has
hand
he-
or something.
When has he ever fought effectively as Larry? Not the negative being, as Larry.
And you are confusing capability with willingness. Okay. Larry can do a great deal, but he ain't got time for them. The only reason he's there, the only reason he's there is because he can't go nowhere else. You can't set up his radiation chamber in a 2-bedroom walk-up.
He's also a heck of a cook. He also makes a great breakfast.
Yeah.
You gotta admit that.
Yeah, he
Makes a
does
great-
cook. The boy can
Yeah.
cook. I'll give you that.
I mean, it really comes. I mean, I don't know what kind of life you've led, but I've had roommates that I didn't want to deal with, but I couldn't afford to go anywhere else. That's the only reason he's there.
I mean,
Like, that's it. He is that roommate who pays his part of the bills and just wants to go to his room and be left alone. And their drama keeps getting in between him and the French toast he was planning on making. That's it.
well, no,
It's
because
really
he's gone
top-notch.
out on a limb. He's been like the emotional support for like Rita and stuff. He's gonna look. He even helped keep them alive when they came back in boxes. So I mean, he does.
Yeah, because he ain't paying that whole electric bill by himself.
But you asked about fighting, Mike. Mike, you asked about
Yes, that's
fighting.
true.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
at
know.
least try to take a swing at it. I mean, look, you got a
He hasn't
baby
taken a swing
with
at
a
anything.
you got a baby with a real head, like jump with like a big with an adult head, beating people up, and you just like standing there, just like, I hope y'all gonna do something.
Classic Trainor. And you know who would say that? His children.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
man.
Too much? Was that one too much?
Ooh, that was tough.
That was so far below the belt, my knees hurt, bro.
man, it cut me deep. Oh.
Well, maybe one day you'll be a Negro. It's hard to know how this will work.
Oh, man.
But so are we going to talk about the elephant in the room as 3 black men and 3 fathers, or are we going to talk about the elephant in the room?
I was saving that. I was saving that to the end.
Come on.
But you know what? We're about 25 or so minutes in. Let's go on in.
Or did we want to talk about Rita first?
Let's go on and talk about Silas right now. Okay, so hey, it's real. Cyborg he's just regular Vic now. So Vic is, out there. He's normal body. He feels back to his regular old normal self, and he's feeling good. And his dad comes in, and he doesn't really get what he wants, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe not what he wants, but maybe he doesn't get what he thinks he would from his father. Yeah, maybe that's it.
That scene, I got 2 things to say. One is long, and the second is 4 words. Let's start with the long one.
Classic Solar.
This particular thing was a classic example of the misunderstanding of generational trauma. Okay? Everything Silas said, not just fire, but factual fire, which burns hotter, deeper, and longer. But he was saying it to a younger person who ain't gone through all that yet. And the younger people tend to not get, and I'm not saying kids these days, kids all days. This is part of not being an adult, but becoming an adult, where the adult will say, the sky is blue, the air is polluted, and if you eat those apples, you might get cancer. And the younger people go, I haven't had anything about this before. So since it hasn't happened to me or nobody I know yet, it ain't gonna happen. You know, and it's just that, it's really that level of miscommunication. Okay, or not miscommunication, but that divide, the real and true generational divide of, I've gone through things that you have not understood yet. And it's the classic folly of the older generation to expect that to land. The short thing, 4 words. Okay, 4 words. I cried manly tears. When Silas had that monologue, I'm just like, shut up, Vic. I mean, you out of line and you a little bit right, but you don't know, man. You don't know. You keep living. You keep living, youngster.
Yeah,
you watch.
It definitely, it came, I did, when I had a panel for Father's Day, I was talking about when I about 30, 31 or whatever, I remember going back home and I remember talking to my dad and I was like, well, no, after I had gone back home and came back to LA, I called him and I was like, I just wanted to thank you. I just wanted to talk to you. I was like, you were right. I was like, every one of those knucklehead boys that he told me not to hang out with, because there was knuckleheads, are literally working a very menial job or they're in jail. or dead. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. But back then, couldn't tell. Man, they're cool. I want to be cool.
Not that there's anything wrong with working at a warehouse or anything like that.
No.
There ain't nothing wrong.
If that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. But it's clear those people don't want to do that. It's clear. I remember being on the other side of the register and I could see that person's face. They did not want to be there. Mm-hmm. We're not enthusiastic. We're not happy. It wasn't like, yo, man, I'm on my journey to own my own store, or like, I'm on the burgers, and now I'm gonna be on the fries, and then and that's what a real no. It wasn't that. It was none of that. It was unhappiness. But he couldn't tell me nothing back then, and so I was like, Dad, he was right. Yeah, he was right. He was right.
Here's where I'll step in with it. I was raised by my great uncle, who was born in like the 30s or the 20s. He had lived through all kind of stuff that now to us seems like history. He lived it firsthand, and he told me, and I got a lot of experience. The challenge is that in my younger days, backing up on what Solar was saying, that the power of anecdotal evidence seemed, again, to bring me back to the Rascast line. The diameter of my knowledge was the circumference of my activity. I could not go beyond it because I couldn't, as Luke Skywalker said, I can't believe it. That is why you fail. So with that in mind, this is especially, I love the fact that this was the discussion between the 2 Black men, because if you look at our community, from Martin Delaney to Marcus Garvey to Malcolm X, to what we did in the 90s, to now coming around to Ferguson and Black Lives Matter. Every 30 years ago, we have to have this same blow up, because every 30 years, the people who come after them don't listen, don't take the lessons, don't take the guidance to make it easier next time. So for me, this is a very big deal for me. And it's funny that I'm wearing this shirt, because one of my favorite pictures of me at this shirt, I was doing a youth event with a group in Leimert Park called Recharge, where they were mentoring young people to become activists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after all the other panelists came up and gave their "I'm old and I'm boring," whatever, blah blah, I said, "I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't be listening to Childish Gambino because," and I quoted 4 lyrics. "I'm not going to tell you you should be listening to Lil Uzi Vert," which at the time I didn't know he's problematic, but whatever. Because, and I quote some, I'm like, my parents told me my music was stupid and I stopped listening to them. Your parents are telling you your music is stupid and they stopped. My parents told them their music was stupid and they stopped listening to them. I know better. I know that your music is good. I know that my music is good. I know that their music was good. There's no difference between it. And that connection is why we all can understand things together. And of all of the speakers that day, I'm the only one that any of them went to follow on Instagram. I'm the only one that all of them still keep in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very specific and intentional thing to watch this happening. I get the fear. I get the fear of watching your kids walk out the door and not knowing what's going to happen when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
especially knowing that when we walk out the door,
exactly,
we can't guarantee that we're coming home. Because
America is openly trying to kill all of us. It has been since we got here. That's a fact of the matter. However, the difference that I try to embody, and the difference that I don't believe Silas nor Vic understand, is that each one of us is not an island. Each one of us is not a silo. In Vic's words, to live the way I was meant to be. You don't know what you were meant to be. You haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah,
You're not even old enough to rent a car without the extra extra money now.
You know what?
So on that side, but on the other side, from Silas Stone to take the agency from his son, to take the power to make decisions from his son, which is one of the things that Black people have always lost, is in and of itself also a bad thing. So these 2 wrongs, however, don't make it right. They just make it evenly messed up.
Yeah, and that was one of my big things, because the part that I took away when Vic gave his reply, it was, I get where you're coming from. I know how you feel, and you're on the right track. Or more to the point, you're at the right speed, but you're on the wrong track. Because he didn't turn you into this thing to make you a symbol. He made you a hero so that people could see you as more than what you would have done. It wasn't that you were going to symbolize that times have changed. Oh, no. That was armor for you against the world that he lives in and that you were trying so desperately to get into. You know, it's that one dude that's at the Eyes Wide Shut party that actually knows what's going on in there, going, no, you don't want to get in here, man. You really don't want to get in here.
Oh God!
Like,
no.
I know it looks cool, but like everybody's got something, and you only know what's going on upstairs. You don't know what's in the basement. And when you get here, you start in the basement. Just go home and play video games, you know. And like I said, I cried manly tears. I'm just like going, this ain't right. This is not right. Like, you know. Again, I could have been like, I feel attacked. I'm like, no, I feel seen and acknowledged. I've been both of these men. I have been both of these men, and it hurts everywhere. And to acknowledge the brilliance of this show. This is not a show where anyone at all does the right thing regularly. Everyone does what they think is right, and then consequences. Because no one really knows what is right. We just do what we think might be right. And much like with life, we often find out that our calculations were a little bit off.
And I
It's
mean,
interesting.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, it's interesting that he says that, because normally I like a lot of entertainment where everybody's really good at what they do and then they clash, and then the one who's ultimately better accomplishes. In this show, nobody is good at what they do. None of the villains, none of the heroes, none of the supporting characters. Nobody knows anything about anything, and they're all wildly unqualified. And yet, as you say, they try to act and then deal with the consequences. And that's actually, in a lot of ways, almost more interesting.
In all honesty, it's the main reason that this show resonates so hard. This show is, all right, I talk a lot about the two different types of writing styles that people tend to either glom onto or escape, i.e. the difference between Marvel and DC. Most people look at the superhero things and they say they want aspiration, but really what they get and what they love is cathartic motivation. Okay, Marvel exists because they built up everything to be the world outside your door. So their heroes have problems, blah blah blah. They do cathartic motivational. If you moderately know the X-Men, that means if you've only seen two of the cartoon franchises, you can probably identify every single one of your friends within the casts of those two shows. But when you watch the Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, you see aspirational heroes, people, archetypes and things. And now they're thinking about like, oh no, I do have a friend that's like Nightcrawler. No, she's very much like Storm. Oh no, yeah, he's very much like Iceman, type of thing. But when you watch things like the Justice League and stuff, you get no one are like those people, as they are now. But so many people who could be there, who could have the purest heart of Billy Batson, who could have the unflappable hope of the Flash, who understands the responsibility of power and still forces themselves to care like Superman. They're all things that we're supposed to be. And then comes the Doom Patrol. And you see people not that you want to be like, but deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, where the special place is forever, you are them. You are every single one of them. And we're looking at that with the fact that they don't know what's right and they're doing the best they can. Well, they're not doing the best they can because they're making decisions based on the outcomes they want to come out and protecting themselves because they're afraid that their trauma will get worse. So they make a lot of unwise decisions just like the rest of us. And then they got to deal with those consequences from the unwise decisions they make, just like the rest of us. And they live in this perpetual state of, I don't know, and we watch that. And that's one of the things that people glom onto this deep down where the special place is forever. That's what I'm saying. It is not just cathartic motivational. This is the show in and of itself is cathartic introspective, just in its themes and motifs. This is where I'm going with that.
All right, well, I'll give you that because I remember, or even for my grandparents, I used to hang with my grandparents, like, weekends, spring break, stuff like that is just how it was. And my grandfather and his friends, it was always like a whole bunch of old school guys around me. And my grandma even had on her license plate, or still has, the word best, is just one word, best I can. And basically, like, I'm just like, hey, I'm just doing the best I can. And I remember being in a conversation last year and being like, well, in a lot of cases, outside of folks that are like trolling, in a lot of cases, people are really doing the best they can or the best they know. The only thing is we can't get past the arguing to be like, oh, that's what you were trying to do. All right, well, no, that's not going to work. But now I see I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? I get what you were trying to do. Or similar, like my grandfather would always drive this into me. He would say, it's the honest, earnest effort every day to be better for yourself and those around you. And of course, honest, earnest. That don't mean you gonna make it. You're just trying.
Yeah,
You're just trying to do it.
My mom used
don't mean
to
you're gonna make it.
Whenever I complained about my childhood, until I was about 28, my mom would be like, "Shut up. We were doing the best we can with what we had." And I'm like, okay, all right, I get that. And this show, in every single character, villain, hero, or otherwise, is doing exactly that. Because we all do the best we can with what we have, but what we have also includes our knowledge and our training. You know, because the Doom Patrol has all the tools they need to save the world every single day. But they also have their trauma. They also have their lack of education on how to use those. Even Niles. You know, Niles is the perfect example of this. All of season 2 was, I want to keep my daughter safe, even if that means I can't let her grow up. And it's like, Niles, that's a bad look. It's a bad call. You know, I get that you're scared, but you need to let her grow up, bruh. You really need to let her grow up.
I will step, because it took me, I literally lost a lot of the conversation going through my list of friends trying to figure which one of them were the X-Men. I lost a lot of the conversation that way, I'm sorry. And I ultimately came up with, the only one I really came up with was, I think Quinn is Colossus, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I didn't get very far on that. But the point being that with the idea of people doing the best they can, what I had to understand, and what I believe isn't understood very widely, is the best you can doesn't mean it's any good.
It's true.
And
True.
at that mind, that all of us deserve, well, let me correct that. All of us would benefit from a taste of grace, because many of us, especially the three of us, we grew up in households where a certain faith was put forth, and the grace that we were given as these accordingly wrong sinners or whatever, we were then supposed to extend to those around us. This is not a unique idea to that spiritual path. It exists in many spiritual paths, this idea. But the application of it through actual people is disturbingly rare.
Very, very rare.
And now I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop trying to look up X-Men, because I'm really stuck on like 3 people. Like, I don't see you as X-Men at all. You're not even in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Who are you? What's your deal? Sorry.
I was about to say, like, are you talking to me?
I am talking to you, yeah. I've been reading through the list like, no.
Sorry, Lifshin, I've been Nightcrawler my entire life.
And so
was with a circus. Come at me.
You do a little bit of fencing. I've seen with a sword bit. Okay, I can see a little of that. Okay.
So Clever Little Vixen says Cliff doing the best he can, really? I'd say weirdly in his own way. It's kind of one of those things where you have to look, because sometimes we're arguing or fighting online with people, and you don't know, like, unfortunately, they might not be the best person right now, but they could be mad better than they were 5 years ago. Like, you have no idea what they were like 5 years ago. Like, now you're like, man, I hate this person. They suck. And then you're like, oh, are they a little bit of growth? So it's like, Cliff is not great. But
Cliff is not even good.
He's barely
what he's trying to do with his daughter, there's something genuine there. And I don't know how that translates to being a good dad or father or man, but it's you gotta see some kind of light in that. Or maybe I'm just too optimistic in general.
If I can on this, it's the best he can with what he has. And what he lacks is the understanding that he can be better. He knows he's got to be. He knows he should have been. But just as Larry is learning that he is and has always been capable and deserving of love, Cliff hasn't accepted that he is capable of being better. You know, he doesn't have that knowledge. Looking at it from the outside point of view, we can all be like, I can tell you this. I've had people over the years tell me, bruh, you should have like all the ladies. You're good looking, you're smart, you ride a motorcycle, you know all these tricks, you read a whole bunch. If I had what you had, I'd be getting laid every day. And I'm like, you'd know how to use it to get girls. I know how to do all these tricks to do the things I learned to do the tricks from. I ride a motorcycle because it's cheaper and faster in Los Angeles to ride a motorcycle than it is to have a car, especially when I got a 30-mile commute to work every day. You know, tall and good looking, that was an accident of birth. So I have a bunch of tools that you've spent your entire life. Hey, I didn't pick my parents. It's not like, you know, I came out this way because the right people got together at the right time to make this. If I had chose, I think my last name would be Bezos. I don't know. But real talk.
Papa Jeff.
So it's easy for us to think from the outside point of view, looking at the arsenal that this person has, going, what would I do with it? It's that same reason why I run role-playing games. Like, you can have a 5-page character sheet that has a bunch of resurrection potions and a bunch of huge spells and a bunch of Deus Ex Machinas. But if you don't remember that they're there when the time comes to use them, if you don't even recognize, like, you know, not to change the subject, but there's a spell called Creation that allows you to make a 5-foot cube of a substance, and people are like, blah blah blah, that has no combat application. It doesn't say you have to do it on the ground. You can do it 20 feet above the head of the thing it's gonna fall on because gravity works. That is horrifying. But people go, what am I gonna do with a 5-foot cube of a rope? I don't know, but I know what I'm gonna do with a 5-foot cube of steel when I'm being attacked by a thing that's bigger than me, stronger than me, and is immune to everything I can do to it. I'm dropping a 16-ton weight on its head. And
6 rounds to cast, though. That'd be tough in battle. It takes 6 rounds to cast. I was like, ooh, let me go look this up.
Yeah, it's 6 rounds to cast, but yeah, keep me alive that long, you know? But seriously, so having an understanding of what you yourself or what a character is capable of, or a character being aware of what they're actually capable of, is a completely different thing. If they don't have that knowledge, then they can't do the best they can with that because they ain't got it. You know, I used to always tell my mom, if I don't know any better, I can't do any better except by accident. It's that simple. And Cliff doesn't know that he can be better. You know, he thinks he is as good as he gets.
Exactly. And sorry, because every time you say something, I'm like, ooh, let me go look that up, and I get distracted. But anyway, Clever Little Vixen is right in a certain way that is like, oh my God, is this the best he can do? Unfortunately, as I said, the best he can do is not any good. He's just really bad at it. And to reinforce Solar's point, not only is this the best he thinks he can be in certain ways, he doesn't even understand how he could become better. The concept, the road between him and better, he's never seen it. He can't get no ways.
He wouldn't recognize it if he were being dragged down it. Yeah, which, by the way, he is being dragged down it. You know, I mean, if the road to getting better was Danny Street, he wouldn't even be able to read the signs of Danny, like putting up going, you are getting better, keep doing this. He'd be so busy going, fuck you, this is better, this doesn't feel better. You know, I mean, seriously.
He lacks, well, not just him, most of them lack the cognitive ability to comprehend this, because that comes from reflection. That comes from time to yourself to really study what you're doing, and more importantly, as Mike said, willingness. I'm sorry, Solar said, you know, it's like, do you really want to be better, or do you think you want to be better?
Are you willing?
Yeah.
It's just like when people look at me. Do you want to take me to the airport? No, but I will. Do you want it? Like, I'm at work and they're like, do you want to get those extra files from the end and bring that 70-pound box here? No, I don't want to, but I will.
Lisa, precision language. Good point.
Lisa posted on Facebook the other night what I said to her. She's walking around the house, comes to me. She was like, do you love me? I said, I gotta put my shoes on, don't I? I was like, I gotta put my shoes on, don't I? And like, I was like, but you know what? I'm gonna put my shoes on right now. Like,
That's the most married conversation I think I've ever heard on the internet.
It really
is
amazing. You know,
but that's true. It's just like, all right, I got you. Let me go and get my shoes. I know.
Yeah, I mean, so in the last couple of episodes, Cliff has been shown you got to make peace with your dad. You know, you have to, and he knows that he should make peace with his dad, if for no other reason, to understand why his daughter loves his dad, and to realize that as much as he hates his dad and how his dad messed up with him, he messed up with Clara, but his dad was able to come back and be there for Clara. And that is a blueprint of how, but he's not willing to forgive his father.
Yeah, because his father was a different man to him than he was to Clara.
Yeah,
and that's another thing.
His father was to Clara as he could be to Rory.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
and the fact of the matter is, he's not willing to come to terms with that. Every Marine I talk to, we laugh because I talk about how people always want the reward but not doing the work, and they look at me and they're like, you know, in the trenches we used to say everybody want to go to heaven but nobody want to die. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, that's fair.
Yeah,
that is fair, you know. So yeah, I mean, you know, trueness there.
So
man, we've already been talking for this long. Do we have time to talk about Rita?
All right, well, with that said, let's go on and take care of Rita, who, you know what? I'll say this before we get started on Rita. I think Rita, you know, she wasn't disappointed. I know she came off disappointed. I'll say maybe she wasn't disappointed. She just, she was a little disappointed, but she just, in her mind, she was like, okay, I know what we have to do, but I know the strengths that we have. And then when, she comes to the team and she realizes that the strengths that she was like, hey, we got strengths. And then she realizes that those strengths, they're not around, then, she wasn't mad at Vic. She wasn't mad at Jane per se, or Kay per se. Just, the last time I saw you, you had the arm cannon, and
you were useful.
Really, really need an arm cannon, and now we don't have it.
Yeah,
I'm like, Rita, you want to take this one or should I?
Rita was Rita was radicalized, and as a radicalized person, she now looks, ironically, much like Ruse once did. She rates people as weapon or not weapon. So that irony is not lost on me at all, that she has now stepped into the same role to do the same work in the exact same way. She's become the monster that she wants to destroy. That's wonderful and beautiful and awful all at the same time. But Rita, more than anything, has, because since she went back to, I think it was the 30s, she's now lived through like close to 150 years of stuff. Mm-hmm. And through all that time, she has not learned very much from it.
Well, she has not taken the time for reflection.
Exactly. As Larry said, judging from the cardigan and the one-piece bathing suit, you look like the same Rita that we know and love. So she has held on to something about herself, even through losing her memories, even through all these things. And now she's powered by the one thing that she doesn't really have a real, honestly, facility for, which is revenge. She wants revenge, but she doesn't really have the tool. She's not really a vengeful person, She's she's a My Little Pony trying to be, in a Christopher Nolan movie. It's not gonna work. So, as such, and respect to all the bronies, I'm not mad at you.
The fact that she's called Bendy and you made the My Little Pony thing, I'm just like, where's her tattoo?
I'm just saying. So to put all that together, Rita is on a path that I believe that Rita cannot succeed with. There's no means by which Rita can become the gritty Avenger that she really believes that she is.
Oh God!
In the same way that my Chevy Trax can never pull a full-size train down a track. It's not built for it. It's just not. So, this is the Rita we have, and she's not willing to understand the Rita that she is in dealing with the mission that she set for herself.
Okay. Now, I am going to get a little meta. In the sense, yeah, just a little.
Really?
Yeah. I'm saying, yes, me, because I'm only going a little meta. But
Okay.
I'm fascinated that this show is also from HBO or Warner Brothers HBO, because the last 3 episodes have felt like a giant middle finger to the writers of Game of Thrones, because it's, would you like to see a female heel turn? This is what we wanted in seasons 8, 9, and 10. And you gave us what you gave us. Because watching Rita become evil, seeing what she had, seeing what she lost, seeing how she has to deal with it and refuses to deal with it, and the actions that she's taking and alienating everything, all she needs now are 3 freaking dragons. And she came back and went, you know what? I got my dragons, and
Gecko. It's a gecko.
She thought she was coming back to dragons, and she had geckos. 2 geckos and a bearded lizard.
Wow.
In Cliff, and they took the lizard. And that scene on the bus where Kay discovered that her and Black Canary should get together and go bowling, was hurtful, because you see the manipulation, you see the lies and the gaslighting, and then you got my boy Larry coming up going, that's not what you were talking about. Tell them what you told me. Like, you ain't setting me up as some sort of supervillain sidekick. He turned into Will Smith under them bandages. He's like, tell the truth. Just tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
The whole
Tell the
time.
truth.
And she was like, well, yes, yeah, fine. I'm just trying to get revenge, but you gotta understand. And they're like, they took it the way the Doom Patrol takes it. Like, the only reason we ain't kicking you out of the car right now is because it's about to explode. That's it. So I'm looking forward to Wednesday to see how this plays out.
Yes.
Because we talk about this show all the time, about how it is a character show first, and the superhero stuff they throw in. Like, I use the phrase, when the executives come into the room and they're like, if the executives don't like it, we don't get any more money. Quick, put in an explosion. Yeah, look, it's a superhero fight. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. We good?
See, we're using special effects.
You guys
right
have
here.
a good time. Yeah, you guys have a good time. All right. So Larry has to come to terms with who he really is and face his memory. Cliff now knows that he's running from the truth, and let's make him okay with that. Yeah, we'll make him okay with that until the consequences hit. All right, cool. Oh, they're back. Yeah, hi. So we're going to attack everybody with faces with wings? Yeah, faces with wings, and it's going to take over the whole world, and the stakes are going to be escalated. And okay, all right, guys, you guys have a fun time in your Stargirl meeting. Okay, cool. Now Rita comes in, and Rita's
Wow.
I'm hit. I'm going down.
Am I wrong?
I've never even watched the show, and I still know that's bad.
Look, I love Stargirl. I think that
Death
show
Chapel is a national treasure.
Yeah, and again, that show is way better than it has any right to be. But it don't hit on themes and motifs as deep as the Doom Patrol, because Berlanti is right there going, yes, we should have these attractive people doing heroic things. I want more heroism. Give me more heroism. I need to sell toys. And while he's over there doing that, the people at the Doom Patrol are going. So I called up this psychologist, and she recommends that we have their recovery of the story arc take another 5 seasons. Now, we're going to remove Dorothy from this season, but when she comes back, she's probably going to deal with the complex nuances of being in love with people in a world that's out to get you. We good? Oh, hi Berlanti, how's it going? Yeah, no. This goat farts out the goat farts out a ransom thing, and then they have to go into the underworld and fight stuff. I mean that's what it feels like, and so with this show, it's like, when they're doing what they do with the weird and again the Dadaism of this show. This show is for comic book fans that need to take their freaking medicine and freaking grow up. They're doing it. They're doing it hard. So yeah, I'm real good with that. So the Doom Patrol took it, when they found out about Rita's the same kind of lie that a 19-year-old would tell, like, I was afraid y'all wouldn't help me get my revenge if I told you the truth, so I lied to you so you couldn't say no, type of thing. With this is about Cliff. We have to get Cliff back. It's like, that ain't what you were saying the other day. You were talking about revenge.
Huh? Cliff wasn't kidnapped the other day, was he?
I see what you're doing. I know you, Eddie. I know that's devil's advocate frosting you're trying to put on this cake. I ain't falling for that game.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
I ain't falling for that game. So yeah, and it was like, nah, man, let it out. Yeah, tell them why you really here. Because we'd be on this bus right now if Cliff hadn't been kidnapped. You ain't Slick. Like, he almost turned into a pimp named Slickback, like slapping her in the back of the head, going, "You go like this every time one of them new Macs come out right there. You ain't Slick. You best make that computer work."
I think the argument would have gone a little bit different because Cliff is really like, just whatever, shut up. Cliff would have, if he was on the bus, we would have had a little less arguing, and I don't know if it would have done the thing that it did at the end. I don't know if that would have happened.
I think it would have happened in the same way, because all Cliff would have done was like put out a long string of expletives while still doing what he was angry about having to do. Because that's Cliff. It's just what he does.
Yeah. Sadly, or maybe not sadly, but with that said, guys, we are at time. We got one more to go. I don't know what to even think, but before we get out of here, shout out to everybody in the chat. One more to go. We'll see what happens to Madame Rouge or, Cliff. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Pseudoscience.
Yeah, she's going to make the sibling hood of the lukewarm at this point. I don't know. It's, because the Brotherhood of Evil is taken, the Sisterhood of Dada is taken care of. So now I'm like, I don't know. Is
the cousinry.
Yes,
the cousinry.
The cousinry of Dada, or no, the cousinry of Dolly.
The cousinry of complications.
Yeah.
So in the bottom square, Hannibal
the cousinry
Taboo.
of Chaos Math.
Where can they find you?
You can find every week on Bleeding Cool comic book reviews. I've actually got to finish up some of those right now. And on the iHeartRadio podcast, Nerdorama with Mo and Tawala. You can use @HANNI, B as in bounce, ALTABU to find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and there are beams of radiation coming from the sun. And you'll find we just finished the season of False Flag, which is a mind bender, which is free to binge and read. It's adventure fiction on operative.net. And November 24th, you will find in comic book stores everywhere, Project Wildfire. Thank you for having me.
What up? Thank you for coming through. And right over here, Solar Gray, where can they find you?
Hey, you guys can find me at twitch.tv/BID_P Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock Pacific time, where we talk about games and nerd stuff and how it relates to the life that you'd like to live versus the life that you are living. You can also find our archive on YouTube. Just look for Solar Gray on YouTube and you'll see our shows about crafts and writing and D&D and miniatures games, and how all of these skills can help you build the life that you want using color theory and writing methods and proper punctuation, because there is a difference between less and fewer. And with that, you can also reach out to us at Back in the Deck on Instagram and Twitter. And when you need some eye bleach, check out Lil Saul over on TikTok at BidP. That's at BIDPY.
That's what's up. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those places. Hit all the buttons. Like, dislike, subscribe, share, show some people, do whatever.
Before we get out of here, NERDSoul, I am going to, since I got this up, I'm gonna give you $38 real quick. I pushed like.
See,
Don't spend it all in one place.
Thank you. You can give me $38 without even having to give me $38.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You get $38 from every like? That's amazing.
No, I don't. No, but what is it? You were talking about how a share is like akin to like $35 or something like that. So all you gotta do is share it. Just share it. Share it.
There's no actual money though.
There's no real money. You can give me money without giving me money. See?
Okay.
You can give me the worth of $35. That's all you gotta do. It's not that hard. It's easy. So, podcast for listening. Podcast for listening. Spotify for music. We got PL Parker Lewis and Architron. You want to say peace? And why high son? That's right. Say peace.
Hey, for the children.
Oh boy, Wu-Tang is for the children. We out.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the Parker Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold, I get do this, both eyes closed, too short, I stay on my toes, about that guap boy, anything goes, help the bear if we outside, help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed, I'm still grinding over here, yeah, still sliding through my own lane, shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me, dream to get money, made it through the storm, living sunny, dreams came true, now we eating, I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them, trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games, everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.